Welcome to Whispers, everybody, on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog. It is 8:07 p.m. here in downtown Wheeling, about 72 degrees. It's finally cooling up. I like
72.
According to your little picture on your desk.
That doesn't work.
Well,
it is.
What is it really?
64.
64?
Chilly degrees out there.
I was wondering why every week I was here it was 72 degrees.
It's been 72 a long time.
It's been 72 since we went on the air.
Is that the office's temperature, I guess?
No, that's called a broken thermometer.
Oh, okay.
In Brokeland.
Yeah, in a parallel universe.
All right, give us a call here, 304-214-1600. If you're out the area, watching us online, call us 866-514-1600.
I'm fixing my headphones. I wasn't really able to hear anything y'all were saying.
Oh, well, we were
that's
talking
good.
about you.
I was
we
just
were.
guessing what you were talking about. So,
Phew, we skinnied out of that one, didn't we? Yeah.
Nerds.
All right, we wanted to start off talking today about our website, whispersradio.com. We got some new things going on with it, Nick.
I was going to say, if there was something behind...
I thought I stopped it. It didn't stop.
That sounded like the facts of life. Was that... No?
No.
No, okay. I was like, facts of
No,
life?
it wasn't Facts of Life.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was singing along. All right. On the website, we have a way for you finally to talk to us and contact us, actually, both. There's a shout box, if anybody knows what that is. Go there, and you can just write messages in real time. They'll appear right on the website right then. And if you contact us, you can actually go to a form, fill out the information, and send us an email. So
Makes it easier so you can contact us. We've been getting a lot of messages from people who are afraid to call in because they know that we have like a broader area because of the being online.
it's because you're so negative and you torture people.
Oh, it is.
Do you think I'm negative?
No.
People talk to off the air, and
I've
Jordan, you're a negative person, and
I've gotten a lot of comments on like how every time a guest goes off the air, I shoot off on some kind of negative rant.
All right, then I'll lead off from now on.
I guess now every time we cut off, I'm just going to be like, la la la, that was
He was
beautiful.
wonderful.
Yay!
Now, in all fairness, we have had a couple guests on that are really way outside of even paranormal mainstream.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's
when you leave the
unfair.
paranormal mainstream, you've got problems.
It's been different. We've had
yeah.
different shows,
Yeah.
But they've all been very interesting. So at least I think so.
Well, that guy last week, that was, taken separately, taken his two topics that he never quite did integrate. He was very interesting on both sides. But when we had a caller that pointedly said, how do you reconcile one to the other? And he just kind of went off somewhere else into astrospace, and I think that's fair for us to say.
I think one's a hard science and one's closer to a belief
spiritual.
system.
Yeah,
Exactly.
spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we've gotten, we've had some emails from people. Wanted to give a shout out to Nick in British Columbia, who's been listening to our show. So hello, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hi. Wait. Nick in British Columbia. Yeah, not me. Okay. But he's really enjoying our show. He's actually was asking me, can I share this with a forum I'm on? They'll love it. And like, sure, why not?
Absolutely.
So
Bring on the Canadians.
So, and actually, if you're listening, you're anywhere that's not in Wheeling, West Virginia, or Blair, or right around us, call us 1-866-514-1600, just so people will know that you are actually there and you're not in our head.
Yeah, we've had some people from China actually listening.
Are you
too.
kidding?
Yeah, I've been getting hits, people downloading it in China.
Nick says, guess where the second largest country
second
colonist
largest
is, and he says, it's China.
You never know. We'll go behind the Great Wall of China, the Great Firewall of China. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Great Firewall of China. China blocks a lot of internet traffic, so our mission is to be blocked in China. We should set ourselves up to do that. You think we can do?
Nick's such
That's
a
our
nerd.
mission.
Nick is a nerd.
Why not? It'll be fun.
Man.
Down with China. No. But, hey. Also, what else were we wanting to do?
We're going to keep our email address up. Nick's got like 5 computers in front of him. It's like his own little evil empire. He's going to keep those up. So during the show, if you don't want to call in, because we've got a lot of messages from people afraid to call, go ahead and email him, whispers1600@gmail.com. And that way that'll pop right up, and Nick can go ahead and read your question.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And also we visited the Dan's Toy and Plastic Brick Museum this past weekend. We participated in the
castle build.
Did
you?
It was fun.
We had the most sadistic ones, I believe. I captured some of Jordan's guys.
Well, set it up first. Okay. Set it up. Like, what we were doing, like, the main walls of the castle were built, and everybody built the city inside.
You got like a little flat to build on, so, pretty good size.
So there were separate teams, I was the Red Knights, and Nick was the Blue Knights. So we're building our little fortress going on, and we have all these knights sitting. Well, Nick takes some of my knights and locks them in a little room.
I put them in. So what does Jordan do?
He bombs it.
He escalates. He pulls a bush. No, and
well, my knights had axes. So
I see where this is going.
I took Nick's knights and Lego parts, I guess, dismember.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I made a wonderful scene with Nick's knights.
He beheaded my knight. So if you pop off I found it if you pop off the hat, you can, you have a little Lego thing. So I hung one of his.
Oh,
so
gosh.
He had like a hangman's
Children will see this.
Well, there were some worse ones. There were some crazy things. Everybody gets a chance to build. We built. So
yeah,
That's awesome.
we went up to the guy who was in the room, like in charge of the room we were in. We were like, we don't know if this can be actually submitted into the thing.
Yeah.
And he loved it. He was like, oh man, this is great. It's definitely going in. So we're like, all right.
So we do have something to give to Lola.
Yeah, we do have.
You want to go ahead and build this up, and I'll carry it over to her.
Okay.
Oh my! Do I get a gift?
We brought you a gift for being so great.
Aww.
What it is? There's a guy that actually engraves Lego bricks and was passing out name tags.
Oh, how cool is this?
So we made you a name tag.
Lola Miller, AM 1600 WKKX, whispersradio.com.
Now you can take those apart. So if you wanted to put just the AM 1600 or whatever, you can do it, which was awesome. People were carrying, just these looks like huge, Star Wars
nerd
badges.
Shields.
Yeah. Like Overlord of Legos, and it was crazy. So
we thought we'd make you one.
Thank you.
But it was fun. We
nice.
wish you'd been able to come up there with us. You could have built one and killed both of our guys.
I would have used a catapult on you. Oh,
okay. And I was like, "What?" They're talking back and forth and mouthing things, and I'm like, "What's happening?"
Sign language.
I thought I'd had a stroke.
Anyway, it was great. If you haven't been to the Lego Museum yet, get out there. 2 world records now. You'll be able to see Nick and I's masterpiece somewhere in there. We want to try to head out tomorrow to find out where ours was placed, if it's still there.
But there was a lot of people there, a lot of kids. It was great fun. Brienne, was that her name?
Yeah, the lady that was here last week.
We actually got to see what she finished, and it was awesome. It was like a worm kind of thing, and she had guys all in it and everything. So it was really nice to see what she actually did with that.
Oh, it was sweet, and
some of her other stuff too. Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, I think that's actually staying in the museum.
I believe
that
it
piece
was.
she was making was to stay there.
Yeah, I believe it was, but we'll have to ask Dan next tomorrow.
That was great. The head of it alone was the size of a.
Well, she saw the head. It was
a volleyball.
It was about a couple grapefruits, is what Brianna said. So.
Well, I did one commercial. You want to hear it real quick?
Oh yeah,
sure.
All right. Attention, kids of all ages from 1 to 101. Want to see Darth Vader and R2-D2? What about Spider-Man? Or how about a pirate that's traveled the 7 seas? Or a NASA-trained and certified astronaut? Kobe Bryant and Dirk Nowitzki are there, too. And where can you see all this and more? At the Toy and Plastic Brick Museum on Noble Street in the all-American town of Blair, Ohio. Dan Brown and the folks at the Toy and Plastic Brick Museum are now listed in the Guinness Book of World Records. Last year for the largest Lego image ever, and this year for the world's largest castle made entirely of Lego building blocks. Located at 4597 Noble Street in Blair, Ohio, in the old Gravel Hill School, the museum is open Wednesday through Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And there's entertainment daily. A band made entirely of Lego blocks, the Lego 3, perform for everyone. School groups and kids clubs want to take a road trip? Give them a call at 740-671-8890 for group rates. So, for 36,000 square feet of Lego fun, head over to the all-American town of Blair, Ohio, and visit the Toy and Plastic Brick Museum at 4597 Noble Street. Oh, and while you're there, don't forget the new space room's open now, too. Is Pollyanna available anywhere? Oh, my gosh, I hadn't heard it, actually. And, oh, jeez.
She sounds so happy.
I could just sell cotton candy on a corner. Oh, no.
Wow.
But I want to cut one for the, what do you call it? The biotronic, what's that?
Bionicles.
Yeah, bionic, okay.
Bionicles, yeah.
Because those things are awesome.
They were cool.
Yeah.
They were cool.
Well, we have Frank on the phone.
All right,
Frank had to sit through that commercial.
I bet Frank enjoyed it. We're joined here with Frank Frascino Jr. We had him on a couple weeks ago, wrote the book about Flatwoods Monster. This weekend coming up is the Flatwoods Monster Anniversary and Flying Saucer Extravaganza. I wish I could have like an echo behind my voice. Extravaganza! You know. So, Frank, are you with us?
Yeah, glad to be back.
How we doing, Frank?
We're doing great.
Now, you're actually in West Virginia, right? You just flew in
I
today
just
and
got a
landed.
little while ago. We
Oh.
just had finished dinner and talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing this weekend. It's the Flatwoods Monster Anniversary and Flying Saucer Extravaganza. It's being put together by Brothers Bailey Promotions out of Charleston, and it's a two-day event, and it's going to be held on September 12th and 13th. And it's at the Albin Art and Conference Center on Old Main Street in St. Albans.
Okay, now I lost it, Jordan.
Nick got tongue-tied.
I got tongue-tied. It's the Flatwood, this weekend is the Flatwoods Monster meets Mothman, is that correct?
Right, that was the title of the show.
Okay, and
What's the full title?
It's the Flatwoods Monster Anniversary and Flying Saucer Extravaganza, and the topic is going to be the Flatwoods Monster meets Mothman. And we're going to have a big lineup of people there. Stanton Friedman flew in from Canada.
All right.
We got Jeff Wamsley from Point Pleasant. John Ventry, who's the Pennsylvania, West Virginia MUFON director. Alfred Lemberg, UFO magazine writer. And we have the top kick Bill Burns, the UFO hunter, who also owns the UFO magazine,
Wow.
and his wife Nancy Burns, who's the editor-in-chief. Now we have a special guest this year, and this is a big one. We have Freddie May, who was actually an eyewitness who saw the monster in a craft that landed that night.
Oh, wow.
So will he be talking and taking questions?
Freddie May is going to be there. He's going to be doing a meet and greet and signing autographs. He's going to be there one day only on September 12th. Now, let me give you the times for the shows, guys. It's going to be from 2 to 5, and that's going to be the conference and meet and greet, and we're all going to be set up. We're going to have the Flatwoods Monster Museum, and we're also going to have, Jeff's going to have some pieces down there from his Mothman Museum, and then the actual show production is going to start at 6 o'clock and go to approximately 9:30. Now, anybody who's interested in getting tickets in advance could go to my website, flatwoodsmonster.com, and you could save a few dollars by getting these tickets in advance, or you could buy them at the door.
Okay, Nick, can you put that on our website?
I actually have all the information, and I have a link directly to where they can purchase the tickets already up and ready to go.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
I'm way ahead.
All right.
So are you guys coming down this weekend?
I'm trying my best. Every time I get
we're trying to work out details.
Yes.
So there's a possibility, but then there's not a possibility. We're trying to iron everything out.
it's hard. It seems like everything's getting busier these days. It's crazy.
And we also have another special guest who's just been added. This is kind of a special thing. We have a little girl from Gilmer County. Her name is Lexi Loudon, and she was the 3-time West Virginia Social Studies winner and her topic was the Flatwoods Monster. Now, this little 10-year-old girl went over the top, and she's going to be down there as a special guest, too.
Oh, that's sweet. Did she read your book?
Yes, she did.
Oh.
And, oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is an upcoming star from the state.
That's great.
And she's going to be there also. So it's going to be a good time for everybody.
Oh, well, that's great.
Like the prices that are on the website, that includes the full day show from 2 to 5 and then 6 to 9:30. So it's going to be a well-rounded show, a lot of exhibits there. And the whole show is being put together by Robert Breeze, who flew in from Connecticut, and he's doing all the stage production. So we got a heck of a crew behind us.
That's great. We're looking forward to it, and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to come down and see you. So.
All right. Thank you very much, Frank.
Looking forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah, have fun this weekend.
All right, so if you want to see half of the guests that we've had since we started, they are all going to be at this conference. You'll be able to sit with them, speak with them, and pick their minds clean. So definitely go down. It's this coming weekend. We're going to take a break here on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog.
My mind gets you out of sight. Across this open sea, sparkle blue beauty like a young man's dream.
Welcome back to Whispers on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog. It is now 8:29. I couldn't tell you the degrees.
It is a balmy 64 degrees out there under darkening skies.
I'm just glad she has a thermometer.
All right, we got some emails. Nick, what we get?
Well, they have a question for the guests, so we probably should bring
Both
the
of them?
guest on. Yes.
All right. Well, today our guest is Jeff Wamsley. You might recognize the name. He was with us June, July. When was it?
July. We weren't on the air in June.
Oh,
so it would be July.
I knew it was a J month.
Yeah.
We had him on in July. He's got an event coming up really soon, within the next couple of weeks, I believe, and he's going to share it with us. Jeff, you there? How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Well, thanks for coming back.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Do you think I'm mean?
I haven't met you in person, I don't think. I don't know.
Do I sound mean?
No, you sound pretty laid back.
He's a nice guy.
No.
That was Nick popping in with no.
I'm his cousin, and I've been around him for a long time. And
all right, you want to read him the question real quick before we get started?
We already have a question before you even got on the air.
Okay.
It says, ask this dude when was the last time Mothman was sighted? Was there any significant event/disaster surrounding the sighting? And that's from Hank.
Well, a lot of that depends on who you talk to. Like I mentioned before when we talked, I get emails all the time, from people all over the world, literally, that see these flying creatures or Garudas or Thunderbirds, whatever you want to call them. I think it's the other way around sometimes, because a lot of times when a major disaster happens, that's when some people think, well, were there any sightings of Mothman or this thing or whatever. So that's a tough one to answer. I mean, there again, there's emails that flood in all the time. That was, like I said, it's that was a tough one. But Now
the Mothman itself. I've talked to a lot of people off the air, and every time I mention, we have, the Mothman guy was on, or that he was coming on, they're always, I think it's disaster, an omen or something that the disaster is coming whenever they see that, and that's what they've always heard.
Yeah. Well, the movie portrayed that quite a bit too.
And I think that's think that's where that perception comes from.
It does, and and that's some of the documentaries even do that. Of course, with the Silver Bridge disaster and everything in Point Pleasant, some people thought that was a direct warning or connection with that, but that's kind of a split opinion on that and everything. But the movie did push that quite a bit.
I just got a message from someone in South Carolina saying it's 80 degrees there, rubbing it in.
It's never good. All right, now you're going to be at this weekend, the Flatwoods Monster anniversary
extravaganza.
and flying saucer extravaganza. That's a mouthful.
Right.
And it's Flatwoods Monster meets Mothman.
Right.
Which we actually did on the show today. Now, what exactly is it that you'll be doing there?
Well, I think Frank and I are going to put on boxing gloves and come out and fight and stuff. No.
I wondered if it was going to be a cage match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you could take him?
No, he's a little taller than me.
You might have him on the reach, though.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, that's their their conference and festival with it. I'm going to come up and talk a little bit about the Mothman stuff, and then we're kind of working together a little bit because Frank's coming to the Mothman festival, and I'm going up there, and because both of those were West Virginia incidents, and the state, everybody has heard of both of those. The Braxton County Flatwoods Monster sightings or episode or whatever, and then of course the Mothman and stuff. So it's
kind of like a paranormal networking.
Exactly, yeah. Now Frank came to the Mothman Museum there back in November, did a book signing and stuff, and we handle his books and stuff in the museum. So
that's nice. Now you'll be sharing a lot of your evidence and investigation stuff at that event as well as your own, correct?
Well, yeah. Now at the Mothman Festival, we have a panel of guest speakers. Frank's included on that, but I basically just run around and make sure everything's working right. I never really do any guest speaker slots at the Mothman Festival because I'm just too busy. People can just come up and talk to me if, which I do that all weekend long, so if they have questions or anything.
So you don't get to play?
Well, not really. I work that weekend,
All right, so your event, September 20th and 21st, two-day event, right?
Right.
What's going to be going on? What can we expect?
Well, this year we've started a couple new things. We've actually instigated a Miss Mothman pageant, believe it or not.
Lola.
And the girl who's spearheading that has had a record number of contestants sign up, which really surprised me. So they're doing an all-age type thing on that, and that's actually on the Thursday and Friday evening before the festival. But we also have the panels of guest speakers. We've got Frank, coming, Rosemary Guiley, Susan Shepard, Robin Pyatt Bellamy, all kinds of people. Tom Moore, Jason Clyburn, Travis Short, Neil Parks.
Now, who are these people?
These are all just different authors, different paranormal investigators and things like that from all over the country who come in, and they'll do most of the time about an hour presentation, question and answer session, and all that kind of stuff. And
now, Susan Shepard, I recognize that name. She's the lady out of Parkersburg,
right?
Correct?
Exactly.
Okay, so
yeah. And she's been a really good supporter of the festival. She's came since the very first one, I think. And as a matter of fact, I was just at one of her get-togethers there a few weeks ago in Parkersburg and stuff. So it's, like I said, it's a good place to network and meet old friends and all that kind of stuff. We also have the the hay rides that we're doing up in the TNT area. That's on Saturday evening, starting at 8 o'clock. I didn't know if I mentioned anything to you about the bus tours we're doing from the museum either.
Oh, no.
Okay, that's in the works, and I'm thinking that's going to get off the ground right by festival time.
Now, what is the bus tours?
The bus tours are well, I bought a bus. Let's just put it that way. And to go with the museum, they're about 90-minute tours, and we take the willing participants up to the TNT area, and we go to the igloos and to the North Power Plant site. They can get out and take pictures, ask questions, and all that kind of stuff. So probably by springtime, we'll be running those, all weekend long.
Now, is that going to be an added price to the museum, or is that with the museum ticket?
Yeah, it's a separate deal. I mean, it's, people that come to the museum a lot of times are not familiar with the area, and they want a guided tour, so we'll have music and all kinds of fun stuff on the bus, going up and back, and I think it'll be pretty neat.
And we probably have a lot more new listeners this time than we had last time. Can you tell everybody what exactly happened at the TNT area, why would they want to go to the TNT area? I've never been to Point Pleasant. Jordan has.
I love Point Pleasant.
He talks about it all the time.
Like, I want to get rich
Yeah.
and have like a vacation home in Point Pleasant. That was just like the best.
I've heard that before,
That's the best little town I've ever been to.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go down.
Well, the TNT area basically is like Point Pleasant's own version of Roswell in a way, if you think about it that way, because that's where the sightings first started back in '66. That was an old ammunition dump from World War II where they used to manufacture bombs and stuff. But you had kids up there running around, and the two couples that seen it first, seeing it up there where the North Power Plant used to be. Ever since then, it's just been a really strange area for people to go to. It's public property. It's not owned by the military anymore, but you can go to some of the landmarks up there. Like I said, the North Power Plant's no longer there, but you can. It's a real eerie area to be in, But it's about 6 or 7 miles north of Point Pleasant. So that's what those tours would be based around. Give them a little bit of information about downtown landmarks and stuff too, But there were some Mothman sightings in the city limits. Now it wasn't all up in the TNT area, but if you get a chance to come to Point, you want to go up there and look around.
Okay, now I see you have some Mothman witnesses that are actually going to be at the event this year on Saturday,
right,
the 20th. I'm going to go through the list here. You have 3 on the site. Linda Scarberry. What's her connection?
She was in
to?
the car the first night. She's the only one out of those original 4 witnesses that'll really talk about it anymore. Most of them, they won't. They refuse interviews. They won't talk about it. So she's probably one of the heavyweights as far as witnesses go, because John Keel's book was based on a lot of her testimonials and things like that. So
wow.
But yeah, she's the one you see on a lot of the documentaries and everything. But the other ones that were in the car with her that night have never granted an interview since that happened back in '66.
Now, will your other guests, will they be talking? Will they be open about what happened, or are they just going to be figureheaded?
They don't get down on the main stage like the guest speakers. We have a table set up there near the statue where people can just come up, meet them, and talk to them. Get a picture if they want, things
cool.
like that. And we don't we don't make a mockery of it or anything, or make it look like kooks or anything. But it's just a chance for people to at least say, hey, I believe your story, or I don't believe your story, or whatever. But and those are tentative guests. Things always change at the last minute, but they've been there the past few years, and from the last I've talked to them, I think they'll be there. And you got Tom Urey. He saw it in the daytime. He's on some of the documentaries too. Now his theory was it was a gigantic bird. He's set on that fact there. Faye DeWitt also saw it up in the TNT area. They all 3 seen it up in the TNT area.
Okay,
Jeff, what do especially the first woman that you were talking about? What does she really think she saw?
Well, she's never been able to explain what she saw, and a lot of those other witnesses are the same way. She couldn't describe it. She told me that it looked like a man with wings. She described it as a 6 to 7 foot tall man standing in the road with wings wrapped around his back. Almost like an angel is what she described it as. Angel wings behind it, and but I think that's one of the reasons that it was kind of traumatic is. She's never really been able to fully explain what it was and, why they happened to see it,
The other people that were in the car with her, have you been able to sit down and talk to them just privately?
No. No, nobody has.
And did they like discount what she had to say, or they just shut up about it altogether?
No, they will admit that the other couple is a married couple that still lives in Point Pleasant. And, I've talked to people that's worked with them, and they will tell them, we know what we saw it, and that's all we're going to say about it, quote, unquote, Linda's ex-husband, who was driving the car, he's actually came to the festival a few times, but nobody realized it was him. But, and I'm trying to maybe snag an interview with him, but the other couple I don't think will ever talk about it anymore. They just don't like talking about it.
How old are these people now?
Late 50s, early 60s. They were 18, 19, 20 years old when that happened, so it was 40 years ago.
So it's something they've really been living with.
Yeah, yeah.
They all live in the Point Pleasant area still?
All of them,
or?
but her ex-husband, Linda's ex-husband, he doesn't live in Point Pleasant anymore.
Okay. Now I see some other events here. Mothman powerlifting contest.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, explain that one.
Well, it's got a Mothman theme, but these guys come in and do the powerlifting there, and that's really gained a lot of momentum over the past few years and stuff. And it's just, you know, where they have judges come in and they're sitting there with the dumbbells and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's what we try to do is tailor the festival to have a little bit of everything for everybody. You know, we've got a guy that comes and sets up a big karaoke thing out there on Main Street, and people's up there singing and stuff. And this year we also have Turtle Man coming. I didn't know if you've seen that or not.
Turtle Man? I did not see Turtle Man.
Turtle Man he's from Kentucky, and he actually came to the museum and visited last year. But he is like the Steve Irwin of Kentucky. What he does is he
plays with turtles.
He swims in these huge ponds and pulls these 40-pound snapping turtles out by their tails.
Oh, gosh.
And if you go on YouTube and type in Turtle Man, there's some footage of him on there pulling a couple of them out of there that's really interesting. And he's going to do a display and a demonstration and everything. And
did he bring turtles?
He's bringing his own turtles, yeah.
Well, you got to wonder about the sanity of anybody that will get into a pond and start wrestling with wild reptiles.
It is crazy. He gets there and just swims around, and, you know, and he stands on them. And there's a part in there where he stands on the turtle, and it's trying to shake him off of there and stuff. It's pretty wild.
Snapping turtles are nasty, too. They're mean.
Yeah. He
actually on YouTube. And
12 or 14 times, I think.
Oh, jeez.
The bad thing about snapping turtles is when they bite, they don't like to let go.
Yeah.
I can imagine being bitten by a 40-pound snapping turtle.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, we also have, there's a guy named Bob Wilkinson, he's a filmmaker out of I think he's out of Charleston, West Virginia. He's got a brand new documentary on Gray Barker.
Yeah, who's that?
Gray Barker was an author from Clarksburg, West Virginia, that teamed up with John Keel and wrote the book called The Silver Bridge. Now that's a rare book. You see it on eBay for about $200 a pop. But it's about all the Mothman sightings in Point Pleasant. See, they were going to write this book together. And then they had some disagreements, and of course Keel went and did his book, but Gray Barker is it's called He Knew Too Much is what it's called, and some people claim that Gray Barker was the one who coined the phrase Men in Black.
Now, John Keel talks about Gray Barker in his book. That sounds real familiar. He was the other journalist.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he died back in '84, I think. But there's actually a library with all this stuff in it in Clarksburg. That's where he was from. But this documentary, they sent me a sneak preview of it, and it's really good. And anybody who's interested in the Mothman, Braxton County monster stuff, all this other stuff, it's really interesting.
Now, how is it different from John Keel's book?
You mean the Silver Bridge book?
Yeah.
It's not. It has probably a little more fiction in it than John Keel's book did. But it documents all of the happenings, you know, in that time because they were both here at that time. Oh. But they had some sort of a disagreement. They parted ways, and you know.
All right. Now the title, "He Knew Too Much." Are they insinuating that there was perhaps some
well,
foul
the title
play?
of that documentary is "He Knew Too Much," and it is about, you know, it's a documentary on Gray Barker, and some feel that you know, he was like Keel, you know, with the Men in Black, you know, visiting him, and that he knew some things that, you know, government information that most people didn't know. But on the other hand, you know, they look at it from a skeptic's view too. So it's like I said, it's got both viewpoints.
And that's he being Gray Barker, that he knew too much. Okay.
Right.
All right. Now, also see here, you said you have the Ghostbusters down as going to the as one of the attractions.
Actually, what that is we have not the Dan Aykroyd and the other ones, but we have some lookalikes that are the Ghostbusters, and they run around through the crowd, you know, with all their equipment and all that stuff.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Jordan is just like salivating here. Yeah. He wants to come down so bad.
Yeah, and you know, the people that we get for that and everything, you know, we had 3 guys that did that last year. And it turned out to be a really good thing. Everybody seem to like that. But
now, if Jordan decides he wants to go and he's in his car and he's ready to go,
yeah.
How much is it going to cost for him to get into this event?
It's free. The Mothman Festival is free. There's no charge.
It's Jordan's price.
Yeah.
I'm giddy and clapping like Nick was last week.
Now, the hay rides and stuff are $5 for adults, $3 for kids.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, and, we try to keep it to where, people aren't spending a fortune on everything. But
now, here's another question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can go to the TNT area on your own.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, when your hay rides and stuff like that are going, are you going to be able to get out there, or is that kind of closed down?
Well, the hay rides are basically originate out of where the Farm Museum is. The TNT area where the North Power Plant and the igloos are that's anybody can go there anytime during the night. So the hay rides that we're doing up there are totally not in the same place as the igloos or anything like that. So yeah, you can still go up there.
I'd be afraid to go out there at night.
Yeah, there's people that go up there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning looking around.
Well, it's those people that I'm afraid of.
Right. Well, you don't want to go up there during November when it's deer hunting season.
No.
It's like an all-out war up there. So I probably won't run those tours, the bus tours, in November. If anybody asks, I just don't. It would really put a damper on things.
Yeah, deer hunters get mad.
Yeah, buckshot's not fun.
Right. Or have everybody wear the big bright orange vest or whatever.
Now, you had something here when you emailed me, and I'm not sure if I emailed you back. I was curious. You said something about the Braxton deal. What exactly did you mean by that?
That was the Braxton County Monster thing.
Okay. Oh,
yeah, that's just a short of. I don't type out Braxton County Monster and all that. I just put the Braxton deal.
See, gotcha. Nick's a nerd, but he's not too smart.
Yeah.
My mind I see that, and I'm thinking, okay, Braxton deal. Okay, I can see Flatwoods, and all of a sudden I start thinking, he's made a deal, and he's going to open a museum there or something.
No, we'll leave that to Frank.
Okay, I was making sure.
Stuff,
right.
But I always have to explain Braxton County Monster and Flatwoods Monster are really the same thing, I guess Flatwoods, West Virginia is in Braxton County.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see where the confusion there.
Yeah,
so
well,
that's
the Braxton
deal
would have meant their convention that they're having this coming weekend, yeah.
Now, this weekend, or not this weekend, for your festival, Mothman Festival, is there going to be anything about Men in Black? Like, are we going to be able to see, because that's the part of the story that really gets me. Mm-hmm. It's just like the Men in Black thing they were there,
Well, there's a lot of Men in Black that walk around during the festival.
I see a picture of one of them on here.
Yeah.
The Frick brothers.
Well, they'll be there. They're always there. There's one guy that shows up every year. I have no clue who he is. He just walks around. So maybe he's actually one of the real ones.
We should go and interview that guy.
Yeah. Well, that's who I'd like to talk to, is somebody that has had an encounter.
Yeah, I've talked to several of those people. None of them on record, for books or interviews. But I've talked to, one lady in particular who was just a kid when all this happened, and she told me, in detail how they came to her house and talked to her dad. I don't know if he had reported something or whatever, but she said there were 2 or 3 of them that came to the door, and he had the kids go into the back room. He wouldn't let them come out into the room, but she said she peered out the window and seen one standing in the yard, one of them on the porch.
See, now that's the people that I'd like to talk to, are the ones that have been interviewed and that kind of stuff by them.
Yeah, the ones that come to me to tell me the stories, it's always interesting, especially in the museum. They'll come and say, hey, we lived here at this time in Point Pleasant, and we remember this and stuff. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed going. Is it the Harris Steakhouse?
Yeah.
What's the lady that runs it?
Carolyn.
Yeah, Carolyn. I remember speaking with Carolyn about it, and she says, she remembers them walking up and down the street, and the way they looked so different.
Well, she was there when all that happened and stuff, and you go into a little diner like that with some of the regulars that come in, the older people, and you can learn a lot.
Oh man, I tell you what.
To those people.
Just listening, because I tell you what, when I went to I went and ate at the diner, and I sat there for a good hour just talking to the people sitting down eating, just trying to get everybody's stories.
That's what I'm saying. She has the regulars that come in, but you have to go to them. They're not going to get up and come over and start telling you stuff. They're just almost like information. You
got to press the button.
Yeah,
before.
right. Yeah. Some of them will talk about it, and some of them won't. But you can learn a lot in a little like a diner like that.
Well, that's always the best place to go when you want to get good information, a bar or a diner.
Right. Good meal and some good information. There you go.
Yep.
No, all right, Jeff, that's all the time we got for you this week.
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
We really appreciate you coming on and promoting your show. I mean, we're looking forward to it.
And I'll give you an update on the festival if you guys can make it. That'd be great.
Oh, well, I mean, we want to.
Okay.
I mean, whether or not we get to, we really want to.
It's the same thing with Frank's. We're trying our best.
Well,
everything seems to press down at the same time.
I know.
Bill's usually standing in the way sometimes.
But if you can make it, just look me up or whatever. If you can't, you can always come at another time or whatever. We'll give you a bus tour.
Oh, great.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
And
Thanks a lot,
you'll be the guy
Jeff.
running around, right?
I'm the guy with the long hair running around. Yeah.
Okay, we'll find him.
Okay.
Thanks,
Good night, Jeff.
Thanks. Bye.
See, that sounds like a really fun. I don't know. I love it down there.
I know you do. Jeez, you just get all perky. And I'll tell you, Jeff is believable. Mm-hmm. There's just something about him, the sincerity without the kook factor. Now, see, here I go being all.
See, I'm not the negative one this week.
I know. But it's true. Some of the people that we have talked to, you just kind of, we sit here and roll our eyes a little bit. But with Jeff, he's got some solid information from people. Is it what they saw? They believe it, that's what they saw.
See, what I think the difference is, because I went down,
Yeah.
It was the whole town. The whole town was involved in that. The whole town believes, it's something that goes as a town, and Jeff is just like a spokesman for the town.
Yeah.
Where I'm not going to give any names of other guests, but it's more like they're going out on their own to do the research, and it's kind of like it's them against the world, where, you kind of get the kook factor. But, I mean, that doesn't say that their information isn't correct. Or,
right.
Because Frank Ficino, who we had on just a little bit ago, he did some hardcore research.
Yeah, he did.
Stanton Friedman, 50-some years, of research. But it's him out there by himself researching, which makes you go, how much of this is true? How much of this did he make up?
It's the same thing with Michael Cremo. Michael Cremo's done years and years of research, and, I mean, you saw the book. I mean, the book was just massive.
Yeah.
And, like I said last week, it's not, I think it's his personal opinion at that point, his personal belief that goes into the human de-evolution idea about how did we get here, to where we are now, and you can't take that away from him. I have a belief about how we got here. Jordan has one. Those don't
I'm a godless heathen. I don't have any.
I apologize and brought you bricks with your name on it.
I know.
I'm going to have to go kiss her feet. I'm sorry.
I
wasn't even go there this week. So.
Well, but with Cremo, too, he has the solid science of, the skeletal remains that could possibly be 150 million years old.
Yeah.
I mean, he has that. It's the other side of him, the spiritual side, that I'd like an answer of how matter all of a sudden clings to us, and it clings more to some than to others. I don't understand.
And
I don't understand any of that.
McDonald's helps matter cling.
That's a fact.
And that's something, sometimes you just wish you had more time, and then a week later you get all these questions like, well, why didn't I ask this? Or why didn't I
know.
And you're just like, man, like that question, how does matter just decide it's going to cling to something? I'm sure for him to have the belief, he's going to have something to back it up. He's got something to back it up.
Which now he comes off of of a Krishna belief. That's what he studied.
I don't think it's Krishna.
On his website it says it's a Krishna belief. The Hare Krishnas are an offshoot of Hinduism. So So I mean, and that's
all that Eastern.
It's a Vedic.
Eastern
it's
philosophy.
An Eastern. Which Jordan said was he
studied under the same guy Lennon did.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I love the Beatles. So.
You just wish you'd ask that question. You're going to kick yourself until you finally call him up.
I know.
I'm going to call him up when I get home. Tell me about the Beatles.
Now,
he
next
might not
week,
talk to you anymore.
What are we doing next week? Because we had a phone call. Somebody wants to know when we're going to do local.
Local, okay.
Local.
We are talking next week with Stephanie Powell.
Okay.
She's, believe the assistant director of West Virginia Ghost. West Virginia Ghost is they're based in, of course, West Virginia, WV. They have a website, wvghost.com, forum. You can go on there and tell their stories. They've collected thousands of stories throughout the state, and I'm sure she's going to be more than happy to hear stories.
Yeah, what they do
in this area.
It's they collect. You know, it's not somebody who goes out and does all the research. People call them, tell them their stories. I guess her whole group, documents it. You know, they have stories from all over West Virginia, all the ghost stories, all the haunted stories, all the evidence that some people have collected. I mean, she's going to have it. So
okay. Well, then maybe we should set up as a guideline for next week. When you call with your story, just get on, tell your story, and then hang up, and you can listen to the reaction that she has. But that way we'll keep it going, and we'll be able to get more phone calls if you just call and tell your story. And then I don't know how she would. I'm sure she's got a website that you could contact her, or she could contact you somehow to get more documentation, perhaps, for your story.
Yeah,
that's how we'll do it.
We'll make sure we take everybody's information when they call.
Now, also, with you were saying the local, in October, and I've been kind of holding off on even saying this until we got a little closer, but we are also going to have, and I'm looking for anybody out in the area, Wheeling area or anywhere around the world, if you have, something you would want to give us to be a prize for this, but we're going to have a ghost story contest, and I believe I have that down on the 29th of October.
Oh, my birthday.
Is it on your birthday?
Yes.
Mine's the 24th.
So we're going to celebrate.
Shi's is the 28th.
We're going to celebrate both of their birthdays.
All right.
And it's going to be our Halloween extravaganza. We want to hear your stories.
And what we're going to do is I'm trying to figure out who we would have as some judges, because I don't want to judge it.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of, I don't want to say that's,
Have John's wife come in. She's
yeah, we'd like to.
Yeah,
we
Sheila.
should do that.
Sheila would be good.
I have it down here as the 29th. So
good.
If you want to start getting your story ready or presentation of the story, I think we're going to have like originality as I don't want to. I was in the car and there was a hook in the window. It's not original. We've heard it before.
Or believability should be one factor.
Yeah, and I want to have some people in here. Maybe we'll give them a little sheet. You tell your name, give us your story, and if you win, I'm hoping to get some. I'm hoping to get some, go out
some
to
good
eat
prizes.
dinner, some movie tickets and that kind of stuff.
We'll work on what we can get.
Yeah,
it'll
exactly.
be fun times in October.
If you want to give away something, or give us an email, whispers1600@gmail.com, and that'll be good.
Okay. Well, gentlemen,
all right, it's time for us to wrap
show in the books.
All right, next week, WV Ghosts. Fun times. Call in with your stories. I want to say a thank you to all the people listening across the U.S. and Canada and the world. All right, until next week, don't be afraid, only believe.